Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another meal prep video. We're just going to jump right in. The first thing that I made was this quinoa chili. I'll be having this for lunches and also for dinner. I did 4 servings, so what I'm going to tell you for the ingredients is for 4 servings. We're going to need some minced garlic, 1 cup of onion, and then I took an orange bell pepper, a red bell pepper, and a green bell pepper, and just diced up half of those. The other half I just sliced up into strips, and I'll be having that for my snacks with hummus. Also took 1 pretty large size jalapeno and just diced it up as well. For the spices, we are going to need 1 tablespoon of chili powder, a half of a tablespoon of cumin, a half of a teaspoon of oregano, and a half of a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and salt and pepper. And I don't really ever measure out the salt and pepper. I just kind of sprinkle it in for taste, and I'll just kind of keep tasting it. The other ingredients we're going to need is going to be 3/4 of a cup of vegetable broth. I used about half of this can of tomato sauce, the full can of petite diced tomatoes, half of a can of the fire roasted corn, which is about a half of a cup, a full can of pinto beans, and a full can of black beans. Now I will have the recipes that I kind of gleaned inspiration from linked down below, and I just kind of came up with this. Now I had some quinoa in my freezer that I had made last week that I did not use, and this is a combination of red quinoa and golden quinoa, and it started off with 1/4 cup of each, so a half of a cup dry, and I cooked that. So that's what you'll want to do is if you don't already have some cooked stuff, take a half of a cup and just cook it according to package directions. Now I just put all my veggies in here with the minced garlic, and I added a little bit of a cooking spray, and then I also added in my spices. So I like to put my spices in with my veggies and saute them up because when the spices warm up, that's when the flavor really releases. And then after my veggies were nice and softened up, I went ahead and added in all the other things. So the half of a cup of corn, I added the full can of beans, pinto beans and black beans, the full can of petite diced tomatoes, and I added just about half of a can of that tomato sauce. I just wanted to be a little bit saucier, but that is definitely not required depending on how thick or thin you want your chili. Now I'm going to let this cook for about 30 minutes on simmer. So I'm going to bring it to a boil, put the lid on there, and let it cook for about 30 minutes just to get all those flavors all melted together. Then after 30 minutes, I'm going to add in my cooked quinoa. So again, you can use this time while that's cooking because quinoa takes about 20 to 25 minutes to cook. So you can go ahead and just take that time and go ahead and just cook your quinoa while your chili is simmering. And when I add that in there, again, bring it to a boil, put the lid on there, and let it simmer for as long as you want, or you can go ahead and just serve it after this. But I do like to let my chili simmer as long as I can. So typically when I'm making this for meal prep, I just let it simmer the entire time I'm meal prepping. So it usually ends up being about an hour that it simmers on the last simmer. Now what I will do with this is I'm going to divide it into 4 servings. So I will weigh this out when I'm putting it into my serving containers, and then that way I can accurately know how many grams per serving that each serving is. Next up from one of my breakfasts this week, we are going to have these parfaits. So I have, for the ingredients for this, I have some plain non-fat Greek yogurt. I have this Safe and Fair key lime pie granola, which is amazing, by the way. I have some of this passion fruit and that I found at Walmart. It's just the passion fruit. There's no sugar or anything added. And then I also have some blueberries here. So I'm going to put the passion fruit on the bottom because I noticed when I had this last week, it gets liquidy pretty quickly. So I want to put it at the bottom, then that way all the liquid will be at the bottom, not through the entire parfait. So I just put in some of the passion fruit at the bottom. I added in some Greek yogurt, added in some blueberries, and then did the other serving of the Greek yogurt. Now I did a full cup of the Greek yogurt and just did a half of a cup in each of these layers. And then I did a full serving of the granola on top, which is 1/3 of a cup. And don't these look absolutely amazing? What's nice about putting the granola at the top is it doesn't get soggy being inside of the parfait. For one of my lunches and also possibly for dinner this week is going to be this Mediterranean pasta. This is 4 servings. The original recipe I will have linked down below was 8 servings, so I cut the servings in half. I will be having this with some grilled chicken, which I will show you how I'm making my chicken here and a little bit later during this same meal prep. But all these ingredients in here are so fresh. So we have some pasta here. I did 6 ounces of this Barilla Protein Rotini pasta, and I went ahead and just already cooked that. We have a 1/4 cup of Kalamata olives, a 1/2 cup of grape tomatoes sliced. I have about a full cup of spinach here, about a full cup of English cucumber, and then about a 1/4 cup of red onion thinly sliced. Almost forgot to put in the baby artichokes, but I have these baby artichokes that I picked up at Grocery Outlet. Super curious about these. They are 0 points. And then for the dressing, you're going to need a 1/4 cup of olive oil, a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. We're going to need some minced garlic. Supposed to be Dijon mustard, but I only had spicy brown, so 2 teaspoons of that. And then I'm just using my homemade Greek seasoning. I'm just doing a couple teaspoons of that. But you could do 2 teaspoons of oregano and 2 teaspoons of thyme. And then, of course, salt and pepper. I'm going to mix all mine in the blender. Now, because I want to accurately find out the grams of each portion of this pasta, I'm going to weigh it all out on my scale. So I just put my bowl on there, zeroed out with grams, and then I'm just going to start assembling my salad. So it comes out to 1,010 grams for all 4 servings together. I'll divide that by 4, and then we'll get our accurate number of grams so we know the calories and the points. I almost forgot to add in the fat-free crumbles from the fat-free feta crumbles, so we need a 1/2 cup of this. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. Oh my gosh, you guys, I did take a little bite of this. It is so good. And the recipe that I read, it said it should last in the refrigerator. I think because it's not a whole lot of dressing, the ingredients stay really fresh. But I'll be pairing this, like I said, again, with some chicken. Speaking of chicken, that's what we're going to make next. One of my dinners this week is going to be some chicken gyros. And so for the chicken marinade, we need some Greek yogurt, which I'm just going to be doing a 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a tablespoon of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 teaspoons of red vinegar, a tablespoon of, I'm just going to use my Greek seasoning again, and some salt and pepper. Now I went ahead and mixed this all together, pouring that over the chicken, and then I'm going to let this marinate. Now the original recipe said to let it marinate for at least 4 hours or overnight. Mine ended up marinating, let's see, I started this about 8 o'clock, and I didn't cook it up until about 1:30. So it was a really long, so about 5-6 hours marinating. I cooked this in my air fryer at 380, yes, not 400. I want to do 380 so I could make sure my chicken wasn't dry. And I did it for 15 minutes, and I flipped it halfway through, and this is what it looked like when it was done. Oh my goodness, you guys, this was so tender. When I went to go cut my chicken up before putting it into the air fryer, I could just tell the difference. Like, my chicken was so tender. So I'll be having this in my chicken gyros. I'll also be having it with my Mediterranean pasta. So you'll be seeing this throughout the entire week. I'll let you guys know for sure in my daily What I Eat videos what I think about this chicken. And that is everything, you guys, everything I meal prepped. I will have all these recipes linked down below. Stay tuned for my weekly What I Ate videos or daily What I Eat videos so you can see how all my meals come together. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.